All right. Hi, everyone. So I'm here to present like my first video on the Z9. Unfortunately, I mean, I wasn't really planning to put out this video like as my first video, but this issue, I came across this when I was like doing some indoor shooting, like maybe a little over a week ago, and it has been a consistent problem somewhat. So I started doing a little bit of informal tests here and there compared with the Z6, the original Z6 that I have. Um, and take it for what it is. Um, to me, this is an issue today. And I don't mean to, I guess, break the hearts of any Z9 aficionados out there. Not here to troll. I'm here to point out like the issues that I'm having today. It could be potentially be a camera issue. I'm not ruling out that it could be a user issue. Um, but I've never had this problem with any cameras, even the Z6, prior like to today. So basically the crutch of the problem is that the Z9, amazing as it is, for a lot of the autofocus has made me capture images that I'm not able to capture before, especially with the like those the IAF. Again, that is like the Z6 with the latest firmware has made me trust the this new feature more, and with the Z9 actually this has compounded that like significantly. I'm relying more with the IAF of the Z9 when I first got it. However, again, I came across this because I'm an available light shooter, and I tend to use like primes, and indoors I would tend to shoot them close to wide open. And I came across this as one of the issues. So basically, what's happening is that in indoor lighting condition, not a lot of light. When I'm shooting with the 28 1.4E, the 2870 2.8, and recently with the 50 1.2S. When I'm shooting at wide open in this indoor lighting condition, um, the camera tends to back focus only in IAF. Um, any other focusing mode, like the single, anything that does not rely on IAF will be fine, especially with the single point focusing, and put it on the eye, no problem. Um, give the Z9 plenty of light. Again, IAF close to 100%, at least for me. What I do notice is that when to be specific, indoor lighting at around 3 EV is where problem starts to happen. And I would show you a series of images with a somewhat controlled test to demonstrate what this is. Um, Again, I'm not ruling out user error. Um, and I know that firmware 2.0 is coming out in a few days, and I'm hoping this is something that can be corrected in firmware, and that I don't have to ever deal with this issue again, like having to send to Nikon for whatever. Because I never had I've been shooting Nikon for a long time. Never had to send Nikon for focus adjustment. I had to send it once for my D600 because of, like, the image where it gets dirty over time, but nothing this nothing of this focusing issue. But anyway, so before I started going through the photos or the images, let me explain like how I did this, right? So I mean, you can see already in the image, like, the first image that you're staring at. I'm using a mannequin head that I bought from Amazon, stuck it on a table. I shot it with like the camera on tripod. So it so so the distance of the camera and from the subject at hand would be almost consistent. Almost, because, like, Z6 and Z9 has a different height. So there's like a little variance as I'm adjusting the height of the camera. But I don't think the variance is big enough to make a difference on the test results. It would still be apparent when once we start reviewing the images. So again, two cameras that we're going to be looking at with two lenses, 28 1.8 or 1.4. It's like everything is shot wide open at near the close focus, and then the 51 is shot at 1.2. There are four scenarios. Like, one would be an AFC with the live view setting as on. AFC, the second scenario would be AFC with live view settings off. The third one will be AFS with, again, live view setting on. Then the last one would be AFS with live view setting off. Five of each, right? All of them 1.4. Now you may be asking, why am I, like, what's the difference, right, for the live view setting on and off? Only because, like, it's been sort of known that the live view setting on and off affects the autofocus performance of at least the Nikon Z6, and I'm thinking the Z9 probably, at least at the time before I started the experiment, that there will be a difference. But I guess we'll go through the images and see if that even makes a difference at all. Now, so there are four folders here. Like here on the left side, you'll see Z628, Z650, Z928, Z950. So those are the camera and lens combination. So we are here at the Z628, right? Again, Z6 IAF, so the entire screen, because Z6, that's the only mode Z6 can do with IAF. You can see, like, like I recorded the focus point, right? Like, this is the first one. When you zoom in 100%, it's in focus, right? Not a surprise to me, actually. Like, I've been relying on IAF for Z6 for a long time, since the release of the latest firmware. So I'm relying on IAF more often than not, because it's fairly accurate. So again, I'm not gonna go through, like, because for the Z6 on the 28 and the 50, whether it's AFS or AFC with live view and on off, there's not much difference. In this case, every shot is in focus. Yeah. So I have a link below for the Lightroom albums, so you can see it for yourself. But like, yeah, it's for the Z6, everything is in focus. For the 28, right here, right? And then let's go to the 50. Again, 1.2. Again, I guess, just a side note, see how, like, f1.2 renders, but like, I guess that's completely irrelevant. But here the Z6 performs phenomenally. Like, there's no, I mean, every shot is in focus. AFS, AFC, 3 EV, right? So you could see the information at right, like, what the focus. So here we're already at the AFS. If you go back here, AFC, right? Again, it doesn't really matter. It's in focus. All right, now let's skip ahead and look at, oh boy, look at the Z9, right? So the first one, you can already see that the ear is in focus. It says the eye is in focus, but the resulting image is on the ear. This is pretty much the story. So that's the first 5 on AFC, right? With live view settings on. And then this 6th image now falls under AFC with live view settings off. Didn't make much of a difference. Still focused on the ear. Now, mind you, it changes a little bit when you switch to AFS, which kind of improves a little bit. This is not that bad, I suppose, but yeah, still out of focus. Oh my god, this is still out of focus. Out of focus. But you can see here, right? It says that the like right now we're already AFS. It says the focus is on the eye. It's clearly not. It's clearly on the ear. All right, so this is the first one. I think there's, like, out of the 20 images, I know there's just maybe 2 or 3. Yeah, so those 2 and okay, 3. Right, that's not horrible, I guess. Okay, 3 out of 20 images that are in focus. Yeah. Now let's go to the 50 millimeter. All right, so I'm not gonna let's just go quickly through them. So basically, so like I said, just like the one in the 28, the camera would say it's in focus on the right eye of the subject, or camera left eye. Every one of them focused on that eye, the camera says. But the resulting image is back focused. So yeah, in this case, AFC, AFS, whether live view on and off with the camera settings, nothing is in focus. Everything is back focused. So with the 50 millimeter at 1.2 at 3 EV, nothing is in focus. And this has been again, I would never have gone through the experiment if I didn't see this somewhat consistent issue prior to this. And I know that there are like the Z9 has a few more AF options than the Z6, but I think in these conditions, I think it's fair to say the Z9 should have fared better than the Z6, and it didn't. But again, you can ask me questions, comments below. I'm gonna try to answer them. And again, I'm not ruling out that it could be a user error, but I don't think it is. This is not the first time this is not my this is not my first professional level Nikon camera, and I've been doing this for over 20 years. So not over, I've been doing this over 20 years. So I'm not an idiot when it comes to cameras. So I guess maybe I am. I'd love to be proven wrong. So having said, what I would say, right, and I can't stress this enough, in case that you have AF single, no problem. Once you hit 4 EV, not a problem. The reason I know that 4 EV is not a problem is that I originally wanted to do this with a more controlled lighting, using an aperture LED lights, but my aperture can only go to 4 EV before it shuts off. So that's why I couldn't do this. And if you go 4 EV, I run through a series of tests with the Mannequin and the Z9 1.2 and the 28 1.4. No issues, IAF. So that sort of validates that I wasn't doing something wrong with the way I operate the camera, because as soon as it hits 4 EV, everything's fine. Drop below that, then the accuracy becomes suspect. So hopefully this will be fixed by the upcoming firmware 2.0, because it did say that in the notes of the that long notes that came out with the press release, that there are improvements in low light situations. So I'm hoping this addresses that. And if it does, so as soon as the firmware comes out, I'll redo this series of tests, at least similar to this, and to see if it has improved or not. Otherwise, I'll probably need to get my camera checked. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that. So yeah, unfortunately, this has under the circumstances, this has been my first Z9 video. But yeah, it is what it is. Until next time, so I guess I'll have a follow-up video after the release on the 20th, and see if it's still a problem.